Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danni D, and I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to achieve their personal success stories that include joy, fulfillment, and balance. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease, be successful, and enjoy your life. My happy place is spending as much time in my PJs as humanly possible. And I want to help other women find their happy space while running profitable businesses or having a successful career. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello, and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D, here always helping you to find that place of joy, fulfillment, success, and that holistic success that's across all areas of your life, not just your profession or your business, right? So today I want to talk to you about something a little different. I I want to talk to you about um I often talk about like finding joy and doing those things that find you joy. And sometimes that like includes going back to something that maybe you haven't done in a long time, right? And in this instance, for me, it is puzzling. I've always loved puzzles since I was a little kid and all kinds of puzzles, like word puzzles and this and that. But I'm talking about physical, like jigsaw puzzles, right? Always love puzzles, always love the big complex puzzles. And I realized that, as much as I enjoy them, all the way into like, college or whatever, I had not done a puzzle in years. I probably haven't done a puzzle since college or so, like a, full out, huge jigsaw puzzle. So I bought myself a puzzle one day. I saw one um on Amazon and I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool and I love the design." And so I was like, "I'm going to do a puzzle." And so I bought it and it sat in a box. Mother's Day, I decided I was going to take it out of that box and I was going to actually, start working on this thing, right? Cuz it was a beautiful design and I just really was excited about working on it. And I'm like, you know what? Today is my day to just, have fun, veg out. And I'm going to go ahead and do this here puzzle. So I did the puzzle. And what I wanted to share with you was the journey of doing the puzzle, right? And um, how that journey parallels to other areas of your life, right? So first, it was just opening the box and seeing all of those like little bitty pieces and thinking, oh my God, like, just as this big unassembled thing, it looked daunting. It looked very challenging, very daunting. And that's how life is a lot of times when we are starting something new and there's so many things to be done that it is daunting. It is really, really, overwhelming sometimes when we're looking at the whole thing. So that's one part of it. Another piece was just building that foundation. So getting to the point where I was building the edges of the puzzle, right? So you start building those edges, and while you're building the edges, you start to see kind of the like scope of the puzzle. And that's just in and of itself, like it gives you a kind of structure, right? Like, okay, this is, like, overall shape. This is how it's going to look. So that, kind of, gives you like the lay of the land. You realize the enormity of it, right? And one of the things that I went through with it was realizing as I started it, I was like, oh, well, I might do it on this table. Like I have this little end table. I was like, I might do it on this table. it was too big. Like, so what I had in my mind and what was actual was grander than what I had in my mind. And that is another thing that we experience when we're doing something new, when we're being challenged. Sometimes the vision that we have and the vision that God has for us is vastly different, right? And we're thinking a little bit too small. We're thinking smaller than what He has in store for us. The other thing is, so I started sorting everything, into categories like of, okay, these colors look like they go together, these look like they go together. And so that made it easier when I started to segment it to where I was, okay, right now I'm focused on this area. I'm focused on things that look like this color. And that's something that we often don't do well, right? We often just try to, we know that there's multiple things that need to be done and we try to do them all at the same time. And then we don't understand why we're not succeeding. But as long as we're looking at it as this big whole thing, it's very, very hard to start making progress, right? Once we start breaking it down into smaller sections, smaller entities, then we can start seeing the progress because you start to, because I literally went from one side to the other, right? And um I'll share when I post this on social media, I'll share the images like of from Sunday to today, the progress so you can see. But like I really literally like was like, okay, let me get this part finished and then I'm gonna move to the next part. And doing it that way, it went a lot faster and it was and I had already sat back and made a plan, right? I sorted out the pieces by color. And once I did that, it made it easier to finish a section and see it complete. And then the other beautiful thing, which translates beautifully in life and any new project that you're working on, once you start to see your progress and how far you have come, it motivates you to keep going. So then you've seen your progress. Now you're motivated to do the next step and the next step and the next step. So when I looked at the puzzle, I actually, and once you see it, I wish I would have brought the box in here with me so you could see the box. But once you see the design, it's probably the most complicated puzzle that I've ever done. And I don't know that it was the right one to be the first one to break back in, right? Because it was like, oh, I haven't done this in a very long time. But that's the other thing. When you have a gift or a talent, it it's always there. It's always there. No matter how long you might let it catch dust, it's always there. Like, once I started getting into the groove, it all just came back. All of the, you know, like strategies and tips and everything, it all just came back and it just began flowing. So while I realized, like, oh my God, this is the most challenging puzzle I've ever done, it very easily became just another puzzle, right? Because I've done puzzles before. The concept is the same. You've done things in your life before that required you to stretch yourself or to, challenge yourself. The process is the same. The process is the same. Today is just a different thing. So as you reach new challenges, understand that those things that are innate to you are there. They're going to be there no matter what the circumstances are. So you can't, no one can take your life experience, no one can take your earned experience away, right? No one can take that away. So you can step into new situations and succeed because you've done great things before. So that was like really cool. And then there was a certain part where I was just like, oh my God, this is taking longer than I intended. Because I'm like, I'm just gonna sit down this afternoon and finish this puzzle, right? But it wasn't that simple. It wasn't that easy. Um, and that happens in life too. Like sometimes things don't go as quickly as we had hoped, but it's important to not lose track of how much progress you made. So, like every day, I took a picture of how far I got that day. And the biggest thing is once you get over, it's like almost like that halfway hump, right? Like a lot of times we tap out before we get there. But once you get over, I'm not gonna even say halfway. I think it's like 2/3, right? When you get to that 2/3 mark, because most times between halfway and 2/3, we get exhausted and we get tired and we tap out. When you get to that last third, it goes by so fast because now you really have that momentum. It's easy to have momentum in the beginning. It's usually hard to get that momentum. Like in the beginning, you're excited about it, and then the reality starts to sit in, and then you start to fall back a little bit, right? And then you're like, well, no, I got this. I'm gonna just, slow and steady wins the race, right? And you start to forge forward somewhere in that middle to last third. It's like, well, is this gonna happen? Like, because now you see the finish line, but it's still taking you a little while to get there. And if you can get past that little gray area, then everything just starts to come together beautifully. And so we have to remember that when we're in that gray area, that if we can get past this little point, then everything else just starts to fall together so beautifully. And there are going to be points where it's going to be frustration. There are going to be points where something seemed like it was a fit and it's not. On closer examination, it is not a fit. Those things are going to happen to us in life and through our journey, but it's important that we just keep going, stay consistent, and rely on the gifts and talents that we already have. And come up with strategies as well because sometimes it's just a matter of implementing a strategy to make it continue going smoothly. So again, a little bit off the beaten path, but I just I try to get life lessons out of everything that I do, right? And so that to me, I just was really thinking about the experience and just also being excited because it's something that I enjoy that I had kind of let fall off. And I know that I need to incorporate more of those things. I say all of the time, like do something today that brings you joy. So I want you to continue down that road. I want you to find that thing that brings you joy, but I also want you to start thinking about the things in your life that you need to push through between that halfway mark and that 2/3 mark so that really you can really get to that finish line, right? So that you can um really get to that end and that you're not feeling stuck, right? You're not feeling stuck of I can't I can't get to the finish line. I feel stalled. Sometimes you're not stalled. It's just that's going to be the slowest part. That's usually the slowest part, but it's that consistency in pushing through and knowing you're almost there. You are almost there. So hopefully that was helpful for somebody today that needed that encouragement that you're almost there. Just stay the course. Just keep showing up, keep doing the things that you need to do, and you're going to see that you are almost there. And if you are confused about where you are, look back and you'll see how far you've come from where you started. I would be remiss in saying that automatically made my mind jump to the success journal. You can see it right here behind me. And that is really like a big part of why I created it, is because you can document those successes so you can see where you came from and how far you've journeyed, so that you don't forget when you get to that part that's difficult. I've done tough things before and I can do tough things again. So that's what I have for you. I hope y'all had a wonderful Mother's Day. If you did not catch the episode with myself and Ty Solvent, I need you to go catch that episode. It was a great episode about motherhood, and I'm still having just thoughts and downloads from from that episode, as it relates to motherhood and legacy, um, as being a mother, as being a child, all of those things. So check that out. Make sure you join our Facebook community so we can continue these conversations and other conversations around success and growth and fulfillment. I am grateful for you for being here, being a listener, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with these. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For more information about creating balance in your life, register for my upcoming calendar detox challenge at CoachDanniD.com. Don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and book a call to find the workflow program that best fits your needs.